All right. So here we have 493K. Today is June 19th. Happy Juneteenth, everyone. And I was going to show you guys now that we're getting close to World Eater um, and getting new gear, uh, which is more or less going to make my awesome gear obsolete, I believe. Thought I'd show off what I've been able to put together for the past 2 years. So, total is 193,000 armor, or 493,000 armor, and 31k health. The health isn't that big a deal, but the armor definitely is. 82k firepower and 79k anomaly power. Not really overly, nothing to really scream about at all. Uh, but the armor absolutely is. And then when you parse it out a little bit, you'll see that I have 55% long range, 30% critical hit damage, which I think is the base. Yeah, it's the base. And uh, the anomaly power, where I really shine on this build is in, a little bit of cooldown reduction, but mostly it's the status power. This thing is all about freezing the enemies. Yeah, putting a little poison on them and stuff, but mostly it's freezing the enemies and healing friendlies and keeping them alive. Physical damage reduction is at 85%, which can be improved even further. Resistance is at 50%, and oh, and you can see my healing bonus is fairly high. Weapon leech and skill life leech is pretty high. So what I have here is moaning winds on my pistols. I like my pistols because they have unlimited ammo, and they shoot fast, and they spread nastiness everywhere. And I have a ravenous locust version, but moaning winds is where it really pops. Can And as you can see, the base damage I have there is 600,000 damage to enemies in range. Now, they made changes a little while back so that you couldn't just swap to another. And, Moaning Winds has its own global cooldown, so you can't swap weapons anymore and get 3 good pops on enemies. You have to. At first, it was like, every reload you could blow this thing up, and it was just way overpowered. And then they made it so that, uh, you know, you could get an 8-second cooldown, and then people started figuring out that all you had to do was swap to a different weapon, and you can do it again. And by the time you were done with your third weapon, you had uh, uh, your first weapon was already done with the cooldown, and you can do it again. So they made it so that Moaning Winds has one shared cooldown for all weapons, and they should do that for all the stats, in my opinion. But I guess that would make some uh, uh, shore up the weaknesses of some if you could just spam it, abilities that is. So, what I usually spend most of my time with is Ravenous Locust, and the reason is because the damage it causes over time with Skill Leech continues to heal me. It spreads to multiple targets. It heals a lot, um, and um, and it weakens the enemies at the same time, puts vulnerability on them. And so what ends up happening is um, the enemies get weaker and are being hit over time, while me and my party are being healed over time. And it keeps everybody relatively um, sustained throughout, a fight. Over here, now here's how I got these insanely high statistics. Stadia, I'm a Stadia player. Uh, had the most stable um, version when Outriders first came out. And so, being the developers didn't really see an urgency to fix anything with Stadia. Um, they literally did two patches on PC and the other versions before they even came back to Stadia. And at first, that was really annoying for us Stadia players because everybody else was getting the love and we weren't. But in the end, it worked out better because uh, for some reason, some of the passes through armor values of the original uh, uh, from the original game didn't go through when they made the changes. I was perfectly fine with whatever changes they made, but then I noticed that my armor had like 50,000 armor on every single piece, and everybody else is stuck with this. Watch this. Go over here to, and you guys probably are already aware of this, but I thought I'd demonstrate it anyway. Um, you come over here, and the armor pieces are at like 9,000. They're 20% of the values of any of my armor. So it's all 10k, and then you look at my armor, and all my stuff is at 47, 50, 50, 50, 50, and hence this ridiculous passive amount of armor before skills or anything. Um, and then um, my mods. Another thing that went on is for the longest time we could alter both mods on any item by simply uh, logging out and then back in, and for some reason that flipped uh, whatever mods were available to be fixed, and we could just do this over and over and over again, and they finally stopped us from being able to do that. But the mods you see here, like assimilated power, this is how I have three level 3 on both of those mods. Um, and if you look at Borealis Monarch, it doesn't come with either of these. If you look at now this one, I think Freezing Boost does actually come with uh, Borealis Monarch on the pants, but I'm not sure. Um, and then Death's Door and Painful Chill, again, neither of these, uh, you know, um, it's nothing special for this armor piece except for the fact that I got anomaly power, status power, and cooldown reduction, which is why I keep it that in the helmet here. And then down here you see Icicle Storm. I think the shoes do. No, they don't come with that. They come with Sharp Eye, but you'll see two level 3 mods there. Or I think these pants did, or boots did. I'm not sure. I don't recall exactly. But now, if you come over here, you'll see my main skills are Cold Snap, Fixing Wave to heal people in a clutch situation, um, and then Blighted Turret. Blighted Turret is basically my spam. Um, I have versions that cause the Blighted Turret to explode uh, when it lands, but I guess you could. No, it's not there. Yeah, this build doesn't do that. This is all healing and healing with fixing wave and cold snap, just freezing enemies for a long duration, and then blighted turret mostly just gives me bonuses for my class. If you come over here, it's all about maintaining these buffs, right? So when you activate any gadget skill, which is basically all three of the ones I have down there, except I think that's freezing turret, which is fine. Uh, Hang on a second. Is this a gadget? Yeah, that's a decay turret. So um, basically, whenever I drop down or use cold snap or fixing wave, it gives a buff for 10 seconds. And that buff is pretty significant. It says, increases your anomaly power and weapon damage by 40%. And for 10 seconds upon losing all health, you will receive a second chance to return to the battlefield. So I'm not sure if that second half of this skill applies solely to the uh, individual casting it, or if it applies to all your team members who get the skill or get the buff. But yeah, let me see here. Huge buff to healing. Huge buff to healing. More armor. As you can see, the armor stacking is pretty severe. Weapon leech, skill leech, more armor, max health. So basically what I did was improve my gadget times and my resistance here. And then I went down this path here where we have enemies below 30% receive 20% more damage, increase to anomaly power. But then over here, activating decay skills, which is my poison turret, increases anomaly power for you and your allies by 30% for 10 seconds. Let me tell you, the pyromancers love that I do this. They love this because not only am I healing like a madman, but I'm also buffing up their damage every time I use my poison turret. So it's a great little build, and we're gonna go and demonstrate it, and you'll see I'll be pretty much brimming the whole time. My philosophy is that it's really hard to heal when you're with your face in the dirt. So if you're dead, it's really hard to heal someone. So hence the tankiness. And you'll see it is extraordinarily tanky. With all my buffs on, I've popped in and looked and have been able to see it get up to about 2 million damage, or 2 million armor rather. That is not a joke. Alright, I'm going to switch to my gun. Start casting some pestilence all over the place. And then, look at that. Ah, it's just glorious. Goodbye. Oh hey, there's an elite. There were elites. That had to hurt.
Courtyard with one of those wishing wells in the middle.
Great. Do you see a...
Let's see, occasionally you'll see me hit below maybe 20-30%. Not sure what that threshold is, but I have other mods that make it me even harder to kill at that point and start to bring my health back up.
What was that noise?
Storm's trying to compete with me. Watch to see if the level is push faster. So far,
Good. There's a million of those dudes. hell? Oh, he had the shield. That had to tickle a bit. Oh, I see. guy has some pretty good resistance himself. Let's see, I could just stay on fire. This is awesome.
Okay. Storm's pulling ahead. I'm heading under a roof till this thing clears.
We're moving the camp to shelter 2.
Whoops. Looks like I wasn't the only one with this idea.
That's what's freezing me.
Found the treasure. Tax wine cellar. Mission accomplished, folks.
Priorities, please. You're looking for artifacts of unrivaled historical merit.
Wonder what the vintage is on these. Guys, I take it back. This is the treasure. Underground wealth place. Beautiful.
I'd like to see it once the storm clears.
long till that storm clears?
Looks like this one could linger over us for a while.
Well, at least I have a nice view and something to drink.
Hey, say some for the rest of us?
No promises.
Outrider detected. Access granted.
And there you have it.
I wish I was sharing a bottle with you, Yaka. I miss you.
Yeah, it doesn't look like much, because my damage really isn't that much compared to other people who are doing like, millions depending on the event. But, uh, and you can see, however, even with crappy accuracy, like at 45% here, because my aim is absolute shit, I'm still able to block tons of damage and take tons of damage because of the healing. No downtime, no cover time. There's my healing from weapon leech and from skill leech, and skill leech is obviously big for my teammates. The leeching, the constant leeching, helps keep them alive. And then if you look here, Moaning Winds obviously did the majority of the damage. Ravenous Locust can do a fair amount too. But like I said, I usually depend on that mostly for when I'm grouped with other players. So, and that is my build.